I just don't think they really knew full scale of how bad it truly was.
He served his country in harm's way, and now that he's sick, the Utah sailor wants answers, accountability, and a treatment plan.
The nuclear power plant meltdown in Fukushima, Japan in March of 2011 not only contaminated many Japanese citizens there, but dozens of U.S. sailors as well.
They were there to help in the rescue effort, but now many are suffering serious symptoms of radiation sickness with no acknowledgement of the connection from the Defense Department and no diagnosis from their doctors.
News specialist Jed Bull talked with the Utah sailor and his wife about the sickness that has stolen his strength and the uncertainty about their future as well, Jed.
Yeah, this is tough for them and their family. Lieutenant Junior Grade Steve Simmons was aboard the USS Ronald Reagan 29 months ago when it was the first ship to respond to the earthquake and the tsunami. It sat off the shore as close as a mile away as the Fukushima nuclear reactors melted down and leaked radiation. Over the last 21 months, Simmons' health has melted down too, and he's not alone. But the DoD says its expert testing does not substantiate the radiation sickness. Lieutenant Junior Grade Steve Simmons and his wife, Summer, spent another day at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center in Washington.
We've never had any sort of health issues until he was exposed to radiation from Fukushima.
Simmons believes he's suffering from radioactive contamination, but his doctors won't say that.
There's really nothing else that I know of that could have caused it.
Simmons served on the USS Reagan off the shore of Japan in 2011 as they supported recovery efforts after the earthquake and tsunami for more than a month.
We knew something was going on. They didn't hide the fact that there was a radiation leak from the power plant that was melting down.
But he's not sure the Navy or any of the 5,500 on board knew the severity. After November 2011, Simmons went from a fitness buff, always up for a challenging hike, to a shaking and withering patient who cannot walk on his own.
The muscle weakness has progressed to the point where he requires 24-hour care.
But he has no diagnosis or confirmation of the cause.
Our biggest frustration, honestly, is the lack of accountability. The fact that nobody is willing to say, this was a mistake, and it needs to be acknowledged.
The DoD says the maximum potential radiation dose for personnel on the ship was less than 1 month's exposure to natural background radiation from rocks, soil, and sun. And the very low levels of residual radioactivity that did deposit on the ship were mitigated and controlled. Here, sailors on board scrubbed the deck and aircraft after radiation detectors found traces of contamination. An attorney representing 150 former sailors and Marines who he calls victims of the radiation says the DoD response is ridiculous. They've sued the Japanese power company and are seeking $3 billion for a fund to help victims. The attorney questions how our military can turn its back on those who've already had tumors removed and those who suffer, like Simmons, who is not part of that suit.
I just want somebody to acknowledge that there is an issue, that maybe we did do something wrong.
He's especially concerned about the younger sailors and Marines.
Their lives are at stake as well.
Without a diagnosis, Simmons is ineligible for assistance from most nonprofits that help wounded warriors with accessible housing, which is what the Simmons want to get started here in Utah.
There are lots of people out there who want to do something, and they don't know how to help. And this is an opportunity for those people to actually help.
Yeah, the Simmons want to move back to Utah in the next few months as Lieutenant Simmons transitions out of active duty. The website CrowdTilt has donated a fundraising page to help fund the construction of a new home in Provo. We put a link to that online at KSL.com, as well as the complete statement from the Department of Defense. So right now, real tough situation for that family. They're still looking for a lot of answers.
Yeah, it depends on a diagnosis, doesn't it? If they get that diagnosis, then maybe they can get the funds and whatever finances they need to help treat them.
Right. Right now, they're not exceptionally optimistic about getting that diagnosis soon.
It's too bad.
Too bad.
Thanks, Jed.